Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball. That's the truth.
This is it. The cocaine and the crack.
They all sound the same to me.
There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it.
That's just the way it is.
Give
That's
it
the reason why I came to you.
Drink and women and money.
That's right, Las Vegas, all my sports bettors around the world. You're rocking with the boss of the big board, JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, live from the KSHP studios here in Las Vegas, VSX Digital Sports Networks. You can follow me on Twitter at We Beat the Line. Follow the show on Instagram at JB the Ticket. It is March Madness weekend. We're talking that grease today, giving you straight cash in your pocket.
Giving you that grease.
Going to be talking a lot of college basketball. We know that yesterday a lot of brackets were broken. So you know what time it is. Time to bring on my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets, VSX Digital Sports contributor. Here live with us on the air. Ron, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, brother. How you doing this morning?
Well, I'd be doing a lot better. We already know that a lot of people had their brackets busted yesterday. All up in you. Farley Dickinson took it down. How did they do it? But they did get plus 1,800 on the money line. That was the game that blew my mind. Farley Dickinson beating number one overall seed in their division, the Purdue Boilermakers, 63-58. Now, I was taking a look at this before we just got on the air, and I'm looking at the reason why they won. It was all three-pointers. If you look at Purdue, 5 of 26 from downtown, taking way too many threes. Farley Dickinson, on that same note, were 7 of 24. So again, these guys only made 2 more shots than their counterparts, and that's what put them over the top. And I was talking about this yesterday with a colleague of mine, and I said, look, college basketball is having a tough time putting together players and teams that we, the fans and the bettors, know and can expect. I mean, Farley Dickinson, where did they come out of? And when you take a look at Purdue, the only star power they had was this 7'4" guy, 80, didn't do absolutely anything, ended up on a milk carton, had no idea that this young man wasn't going to be effective in this game. So talk to me a little bit about it, Ron. What did you see yesterday? Do you think that this tournament going forward now, with some of these mid-majors squeaking through, we did give you guys Purdue when we came on last week, broke that down for you. But Purdue didn't do anything in the first round. So when you talk about it from that perspective, Ron, these bigger teams, you got Houston coming up today, San Diego State, you got Duke, Tennessee, you got Alabama going up against Maryland. These are teams that I think can fall in this second round because after what happened to Purdue yesterday, I just don't have the big belief that these young men are playing for championship quality basketball. But go ahead. What did you see yesterday in this particular game? Go ahead.
I saw the same thing you saw. I mean, Farley Dickinson, just a bunch of young guys that believed, their coach believed in them, and he pumped them up. They were ready to go. Purdue came in kind of lackadaisical, I thought. Same thing happened to Arizona the other night. I mean, it's hard to say because they play their butts off in these conference tournaments, and maybe they just didn't have anything left.
I mean you're talking about a team right now, though. I mean, when you look at it, Farley Dickinson, let's see what conference they came out of. Do you have any idea? What was that conference tournament?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm looking.
AAC or something, but I don't think that's it. Colonial, maybe Sunbelt, possibly.
I'm not too sure. I'm going to pull that up. But I mean, I mean, serious. I'm telling you, we didn't even know that dog was barking. I mean, it's the biggest upset in the NCAA tournament history, is what they're saying. Even bigger than University of Maryland, Baltimore County a couple of 5-6 seasons ago over Virginia. But when you talk about it going forward, you look at the matchups that you saw, a lot of teams in that first round go ahead and move ahead. You saw Marquette move ahead. You saw UConn. They did get past Iona again. I think Rick Pitino will probably take that St. John's job. But unfortunately, NC State, Linwood, man, our guys did not get the grease. They lost to Creighton 63-72 coming out of the ACC. I told you the ACC isn't that strong, although Miami did beat Drake 63-56. You had Gonzaga holding off Grand Canyon. You had Kentucky squeaking by Providence. So a lot of the dogs yesterday did not get through, but another upset, kind of not an upset, but to me it's an upset because when you look at what this coach is trying to build at his alma mater, I'm talking about number 8 seed Memphis going down to FAU 66-65. I mean, we're talking about teams right now that we really expected to do a lot better in this tournament. And again, not getting it done. Another Pac-12 team going down yesterday. Arizona State, number 11 seed, losing to TCU, number 6 seed, 72-70. So, Ron, going forward into this second round today, we've got a couple of matchups that are interesting to me. The first one being rotation number 805, the 805, the Maryland Terrapins going up against rotation number 806, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, Maryland is 8.5 on the line. You can get these bets over at our sponsor, BetUS.com. That's right. Go to BetUS.com, giving you 125% bonus on your initial deposit. Online betting, if it's legal in your area. Please be sure to go to Vegas Scoreboard Express and sign up for that. And again, let's not forget our main boys over at Fubo TV. That's right. Go to FuboTV.com/JB, giving you 15% off to save you to watch these games. And you can watch them free for 7 days. At least get you to that Sweet 16. So this is an interesting matchup for me because the Maryland Terrapins switched out of the ACC many, many years ago. Now they're a Big Ten team going up against Alabama. Now, Alabama, again, number 1 team over the course of the season. They got kind of shaky towards the end of the season, but still finished as a top 10 team. And when you look at this Maryland Terrapins team, again, a lot of people aren't talking about them, but I see that they do play good defense and they stay focused towards the end of the game, which I think is going to be the key for these teams going forward. After we saw a lot of big seeds go down in this first round, what do you think you're going to see today coming out of these two teams down in Orlando? Go ahead.
I think you'll see exactly what you're saying. I think Maryland's going to keep it tight. They really do play good defense. Offensively, they're not the greatest team, but Alabama seems to really kind of have it clicking. They weathered the storm with all the stuff, and it's hard to root for them, for all the stuff that happened.
And this is kind of a home game for them, too. Not to cut you off, but I made a mistake there. This one is actually at the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama. So 8.5. Do you think that home crowd is going to be able to push Alabama over the top in this game? That's a pretty big spread for the tournament. Maryland plus 330 on the money line. Go ahead.
I think Alabama wins the game. I don't think they cover the spread, though. I think Maryland's going to keep it. It's going to be a dogfight. I think Maryland's going to be right there at the end, but I think Alabama will pull it out. All
right. Again, Maryland finished 5th in the Big Ten, and we're talking about this game. You can watch it live on Fubo TV. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Click that live Fubo TV link. Another matchup, which is very interesting. This one also in Birmingham at the Legacy Arena. Rotation number 807, the Auburn Tigers. Another cat fight going up against rotation number 808. So fitting that these Southern teams have got the big base in the building. I'm talking about the Houston Cougars. These guys are poised, really poised to make it happen. Again, this is the cat fight down in Alabama. Rotation number 807, the Auburn Tigers going up against rotation number 808, the Houston Cougars. So Houston right now 5.5 on the spread, plus 205 for Auburn. Talking about an SEC team going against the new incarnation of Fly Slamma Jamma down in Houston. Who do you think is going to pull this out? Could we see a possible upset from the Auburn Tigers? Go ahead.
We could, and I've heard rumors that they've seen Charles Barkley around the locker room, so we could.
Well, maybe he was just grabbing some donuts and coffee, you know what I mean? Well, I tell you, you guys got to get some rebounds. You got to play some defense. Shaquille. Anyway, go ahead.
It irritates me when people make fun of me. It really irritates me.
It really irritates me. I'm telling you right now. But no, we love Sir Charles, the round mound of rebound. Again, I had his rookie card when I was a kid collecting sports cards and sports memorabilia. Shout out to Charles Barkley. Maybe he can give these guys some motivation, because I'm telling you right now, the Houston Cougars love to light it up from outside. What if they go cold? And if they end up going cold and you can see these guys start rebounding the ball, Auburn, again, a very good rebounding team, got into the tournament, a number 9 seed, but played in a very tough SEC this year. So talk to me about what you think is going to possibly happen from the perspective of another number 1 seed going against a very strong lower seeded team today, with Houston Cougars being number 1 overall in their division. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a Cougar fan today because Auburn is really scary. They're a strong physical team, and this is a tournament-built team that could easily shut that down today.
And I think that Houston also, their star player, I think his name is Sasser, right? Yeah, he's got a little bit of an injury, so that's something that you got to kind of look out for. I mean, that could end up costing you some money at the end of the game. He's been injured throughout the conference tournament. He tweaked the same injury, I think, in the first game, didn't return, but they got here. So do you think the Auburn Tigers are going to be able to start taking advantage of that? And then after we get back from this short commercial break, more with the main man, Ron, third down, best bets. It was his birthday yesterday. Ron, happy birthday to you. Wanted to make sure that all the fans knew that. Want to give a shout out to you, all the things that you help bring to the show. Ron has been really bringing the grease. So again, a great happy birthday to you. Any shout outs before we go? And again, I'm thinking that the Auburn Tigers, I'm looking at that at plus 205 at 5.5 on the spread plus for the Auburn Tigers. I think a couple of threes, couple rebounds, couple putbacks, maybe a few made free throws, and this could be a money line bet for you. But go ahead, any shout outs? It again was your birthday yesterday. Shout out to my main man, Ron, third down, best bets. Any shout outs, and we'll take this short commercial break. Go ahead, my friend.
Thank you for the birthday wish, bro. I appreciate that. To all my fellow leprechauns out there, I hope you all had a great happy birthday like I did yesterday. Let's rock that Irish game.
You already know what it is. The Luckily Irish needing to fill out your bracket. We know that Farley Dickinson got all up in you, messed up that bracket yesterday. But again, JB the Ticket, Vegas, Scoreboard Express, the boss of the big board, KSHP AM 1400, VSX Digital Sports Networks. When I come back from this short commercial break, more college basketball. Going to talk a little bit about that NIL. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Pop DiBiase. That's right, Jamil Brown doing his thing. Prime Wave Media Group out in LA. Check out his Twitter at Pop DiBiase. That's POPDIBIASE. He's giving you the grease. Happened to mention me yesterday. We're going to talk about the college basketball player of the year because nobody knows who he is. The kid's on a milk carton, but you're going to know who he is. So stay tuned. KSHP, VSX Digital Sports Network. You know what time it is. Let's get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball. JBTHETICKET. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Vegas Scoreboard Express, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 6 on AM 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it. Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball. Get the tools.
This is it. outside, no man is safe from. That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it. That's just the way it is. That's the reason why I came to you.
Drink and women and money.
That's right, Las Vegas. JB the Ticket is back on the air with you here. KSHP AM 1400 Vegas Scoreboard Express. You're rocking with the boss of the big board, waking you up early in the morning every Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can listen to me on KSHP.com, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, or, of course, in your radio, on your car to get you up early at AM 1400 KSHP. So I got my main man, Ron, third down best bets, back on the line with me talking this college basketball grease. Giving you that early morning grease again, Ron. Now, we were talking about this over the weekend. Didn't you get into a little car accident, man? Looks like you're going to be possibly picking up a check. Got to get that money. You're still clicking and ticking here, man. These people can't drive for crap out west. What's going on with that?
Well, the lady, when she hit me, I asked her what she was thinking, and she was really angry. She said she lost $10 on a bet that I gave her tips on. And I said, well, what about the $500 you won last weekend from what I told you?
Man,
she was a little mad. She said,
I'm telling you. Man, but let me tell you what, Ron takes a licking but keeps on ticking again. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Glad to know that you're healthy. Back on the air with us here talking this college basketball grease. Now, here is another game that a lot of people have been talking about. This is another one of these dogs that happened to squeak through over the first weekend. Furman. Wow. Small school out of South Carolina. Rotation number 801 plus 5.5 plus 203 on the money line going up against the Mountain West champion San Diego State Aztecs minus 5.5. The over and under on this one is 137. Now, these are two teams right now that a lot of people aren't talking about. Furman was able to squeak by in their first tournament game. I'm just pulling up the score for you. But talking about another one of these smaller schools, how do we not know about these schools, man? How do we not know that these players from all these schools are going where they're going? Because when you talk about it from the perspective of making bets, if you're missing out on some of these big money line plays, I mean, they beat Virginia. Of course, Virginia going down, Furman beating these guys 68-67. I saw the highlight. It was like a rebound. Wait, it was a steal. He kicked it to the kid on the wing. Of course, the kid didn't even think about driving to the basket. He immediately pulls up for the three. Luckily, hits it. It was cash to put cash in your pocket. But these guys were only 5.5 dogs in that game. The money line was plus 200. So let's talk a little bit about this Furman team because these guys are getting priced well at the sports book. Who are they? They come out of the Southern Conference. Just took a look at that. But these guys are playing lights out. Talk about them a little bit because, like I said, these smaller schools getting good spreads. The sports betting community knows that if you go against a big-time team, these guys already beat an ACC champion in Virginia going up against San Diego State today. You think this is another opportunity for this ball to keep rolling for that Furman team? Go ahead.
Oh, definitely it is. Seems like every year we're pointing out Virginia getting knocked off by somebody. That seems to be a regular thing every year.
And it will continue to be a regular thing. Go ahead. It will continue to be a regular thing. I remember growing up watching these guys in the ACC going up against Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Duke, Shane Battier, these guys. And they were always getting smoked. They had good players, but it was just that team that when you got to tournament time, they could always play spoiler, but not so much in recent years. But let's talk about Furman a little bit. This roster has a lot of guards, very, very guard heavy. I'm looking at it right now on CBS Sports. You can get CBS Sports, watch some of these games on Paramount Plus. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com and click that Paramount Plus link. A lot of guards, a lot of forwards. So we're going to be seeing a lot of jump shots from this team. But going forward again, going over to the San Diego State game, do you think that this team today is poised to play? They've had a couple of days off. You got a 13 seed, which is Furman, going against a number 5 seed in San Diego State, but they're only plus 5.5 apart on that spread. So do you think Furman can keep that magic going today and take that as a spread bet? I don't know about the money line. I don't think Lightning can strike twice, but do you think they can keep it close? Go ahead.
They can, but when you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that's what's going to wind up getting Furman in the tournament. They're going to run into a team that's going to clamp down on defense and going to shut them down eventually. I don't think San Diego State's that team yet. I actually think Furman will probably go one more round. Something's telling me Furman's going to get this game, but I think their run's going to end after this.
All right, so you're talking about Furman possibly in the Sweet 16, talking about these Furman. I got to Figure out what the Furman mascot is. Let me dig it up here. I know. What are they? They're called the Paladins, man. Who's going to figure this out? I mean, I'm telling you. It's a dog that's barking. I don't even know what that is. Okay, but anyway, moving along, the Duke Blue Devils, rotation number 803. The Duke Blue Devils -4 coming out of that ACC tournament. You know they were going to let them in. They came on strong towards the end of the season, going up against the Tennessee Volunteers +4. This one's at the Amway Center down in Orlando to get to the Sweet 16. Tennessee, a team that was rocking in the beginning of the season, kind of faltered going towards the SEC tournament, but was able to squeak in. Total, over and under 128.5 +160 on the money line. Do you think Tennessee, the Volunteers, are a dog that is barking? We know Virginia has already gone home, but go ahead.
Yeah, I would go with Duke on this one. Duke just plays more fundamental basketball. They play pretty decent defense. Tennessee, again, is one of those run and gun teams, and they don't seem to do well in the tournament. I mean, teams clamp down on them, and it's hard to shoot when you got guys in your face.
I'm telling you. And the rebounding, just absolutely atrocious. I kind of like that too. Duke, better coached, better pedigree, and it's not that much value to go against Duke in this -4. You want to take a money line? Let me take a look at that money line for you. Duke, let's see. Yeah, -185, man. You can lay a little grease on that. So again, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. We're liking the Duke Blue Devils in this game. Moving right along. Another tournament game, Wells Fargo Arena. This one is in the Midwest, Des Moines, Iowa. Kansas, rotation number 810, kind of getting that home grease a little bit, being kind of in their region, going up against rotation number 809, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, this was a tough team coming out of the SEC. Arkansas today, +3.5, +145 on the money line. Over and under live, and you can get these odds over at BetUS. You can go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com, click that March Mayhem link, sign up, giving you 125% bonus to keep that cash in your pocket. So, Arkansas +3.5. Very, very interesting play here. A lot of people, if their brackets are still alive, I think a lot of them had Arkansas maybe getting to the Sweet 16, but they're going up against a Bill Self-coached Kansas team that really wants to try to prove that these guys weren't a fluke in winning that national championship a couple seasons ago. But Kansas, we've seen them falter in their own tournament. So do you think this is an opportunity for this Arkansas team to kind of squeak through and give a little bit of grease to the bettors today? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, Kansas is good. Their problem was they ran into Texas twice, and Texas hammered them both times. So, but they hammered pretty much everybody else, in their division, in their conference. So, I do think Arkansas is very dangerous. Until they got upset by A&M in their conference tournament, they were just rolling. So, but I think Arkansas is definitely somebody to watch here. Right. I do. Their style of play is not good for Kansas.
Right.
They're
Kansas is
Texas, the way they play.
Exactly. I mean, these guys kind of spread out. They guard the three well, but I'm a little bit worried about the rebounding from Kansas because I think that was the issue with Texas A&M. Texas A&M has always got these dual threat guys, kind of don't really score a lot, but they do rebound and they kick it out to their shooters. So that's one of the reasons why I think that Texas A&M was able to get where they are in this game. But now moving down to the Texas Longhorns, we were just mentioning them. This game is at 7:45 p.m. Pacific time. Again, get these odds over at BetUS.com. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Sign up for BetUS. I'm giving you 125% off. Talking about it today, the Penn State Nittany Lions +5 on the money line, +203, going up against rotation number 812. Those Texas Longhorns -5. A lot of people have Texas getting to this Sweet 16 today. What say you, Ron? Go ahead.
Well, I have Texas winning it all, personally. They were my pick before the tournament. I just like the way they're playing. They're hot, but Penn State's a good team, and they got hot at the right time in their tournament, and Texas has to be on their game today, because if not, Penn State's going to send them home. But I think Texas is going to keep rolling. They're rolling. Rodney Terry has that team playing so well. Nothing matters. They just go out and play good basketball and win. And that's what this is all about.
That's what I'm telling you, to move along to the Sweet 16. I do like Texas. It's expensive, though. +245 on that money line. -245 on the money line. So if you want to take Texas, be sure, hopefully, you can put them on an anchor bet for maybe one of those parlays. Moving down to another team that I mentioned that actually made it somewhere, the Princeton Tigers. Another cat fight going up against the Missouri Tigers. Again, this rotation number 813, the Princeton Tigers +6.5. Missouri, rotation number 814, minus 275 on the money line. Princeton plus 225. But I'm talking about this total. Very interesting. Over and under 147.5. We're talking about two teams that play fundamental basketball, and they do actually cut and get open. So there's been a lot of open shots for Princeton. They were knocking them down. I told you they were going to get out of the Ivy League, but to see what they're able to do today, a number 15 seed going against a 7 seed, again, getting a good price at the sports book at plus 6.5. Talk to me about this. Do you think that the Princeton Tigers can bite off the Missouri Tigers? Go ahead.
I think Princeton's going home today, personally.
Oh.
Missouri's a good team. Missouri is a really good team. That SEC final against Alabama, I mean, Alabama kind of dominated them, but they have a good team. Missouri's a really good team. I think they're going to take care of this. Princeton's good, but I think they're going to run into just the size difference. I think the talent level. I just think their luck's going to run out today.
Well, when you talk about it from a point perspective, they do score very, very similarly. You got Princeton right now averaging 75.5 points. You got Missouri 79. So roughly 75 to 80 points. So the spread is right there. But when you talk about field goal percentage, these teams are right with each other. And I know you're talking about talent level, but we've already seen it early in the tournament. It's not so much talent level anymore. It's scheme and can they hit these outside shots? Because we all know these kids aren't working in the paint. So when you talk about it from a rebounding perspective, Princeton actually has the rebounding advantage at 42 to 32 of Missouri. And when you have something like that happening, I kind of like to see that dog barking. I like Princeton in this game to keep it close in the spread. I think 6.5 is right along the money with them. All you need is a couple of free throws, a 3 at the end to keep it close. Do I think they'll win it? Not so much, but I do think that they'll win it for the bettors with that spread. So I'm going with the Princeton Tigers, rotation number 813, 6.5. And this game is going to be in Sacramento at the Golden Center, 6:10 Pacific time. Moving right along to the NIT tournament. Well, actually, we got one more NCAA tournament game here. Let's take a look at this one. UCLA, rotation number 816, UCLA, the Bruins, going up against the Northwestern. I keep forgetting what they're called, but anyway, I think there's some type of dog or something. But
Northwestern, the Wildcats.
Okay, Wildcats. This one's going to be Bears versus Cats. You're talking about rotation number 815, the Northwestern Wildcats, plus 7.5, plus 278. I didn't even know Northwestern was playing good basketball this year, but I do know that UCLA is playing good basketball. They've got some freshmen that are really dynamic. Talking about that kid, Amari Bailey. Give him another shout out. He actually went from high school to the college ranks and is doing what he's supposed to do. So again, I do like to see that. And he's one of the few high school kids that actually got a little bit of press that I heard about that wasn't a ball kid over the last couple of years. But when you talk about this UCLA team, their coaches got them playing hard. These guys are playing for a championship, it seems like. And when I talk about that, UCLA hasn't won a championship in many, many years. But with the opportunity that they have, the players that they can still recruit in a very talent-rich Southern California area, Northwestern coming all the way out west, do you think that's going to be a factor? Because this is kind of a home game for UCLA. But what are your thoughts? Go ahead.
I like UCLA here. Like you said, their coaching. Mick Cronin's done a really good job with UCLA. He's got them focusing in. He kind of settled the turmoil they had for a while there. And I think they're dialed in. I think UCLA is going to win this game. Northwestern's good. I think they'll keep it tight, but I think UCLA is going to win this game.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm telling you right now, it is one of those situations where I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I don't know who the other team is. I do know who UCLA is, but do you think there could be a possible trap here? Because again, not knowing who Northwestern is, you take a look at that game preview. I'm not seeing a lot of information about who these guys' players are. Of course, again, we talked about that with the NIL deal. Once these kids started being able to get paid, they would end up on a milk carton. We already went over that. But more importantly, UCLA, that's a big spread. Do you think it's going to be worth the minus 345 to put them on a ticket individually, unless you're an alumni, to try to get paid? Very, very expensive game today. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is. I think the good thing is Mick Cronin and his staff has made sure the players know who Northwestern is. We may not know who they are, but I guarantee you they know who they are. Yeah. I mean, it's not a terrible bet to go with Northwestern. I mean, the Pac-12 has been extremely shaky. UCLA could come out and do that today, but I just think Cronin's going to have them dialed in. I'm an SC fan, so I see them a lot down here. Don't really like the UCLA Bruins. Can't stand them, actually, but they're a pretty good team. And when they're dialed in, they are tough. And they looked really tough in that Arizona game. Arizona had to get really lucky at the end with a shot, a 30-foot shot to win the game. So, in that championship game. So, yeah, I think UCLA's going to cover. I think he's going to have them focused, dialed in. And I don't think Northwestern's going to matter what they do. It's going to be a home game.
I like it. Again, that rotation number 816, UCLA Bruins, minus 7.5 if you want to take them on that ticket. So again, moving into another tournament that we got coming out today, the NIT tournament. This is the tournament that a lot of people like to bet on. National Invitational Tournament. It's getting a lot more respect over the last couple of years because you're seeing a lot more big name teams end up in that tournament. And we're seeing a big name team today. Rotation number 817, the Michigan Wolverines going up against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Rotation number 818, Michigan only +2 in this game. There is no money line because the NIT typically is just like, look, win it, take it, win it by spread. Do you think Michigan is going to try to make a run in this NIT to possibly save Juwan Howard's job? Because missing the tournament, losing in that big time tournament, the Big Ten tournament, I mean, he's got UCLA, USC coming in there next year. Do you think this guy is basically coaching for his job at this point in the NIT? And if that's the case, do you think you can take the Michigan Wolverines at rotation number 817 with that +2? Dog, go ahead.
Yeah, I really do think he's coaching for his job. He's done a good job there. He's a really good coach. Juwan Howard's done a good job there. I think the conference has really kind of turned on him recruiting-wise. It's kind of hard to – I just have this feeling it's weird. He's not getting the same recruits he got a year ago. I don't know if it was the incident where he got in a fight with the other coach or – it's been really strange how he just kind of tapered off. Michigan program was really hot a year ago. Now you don't even hear about him. They're in NIT, coach fighting for their job. So, but I like Juwan Howard. I like what he started building there, and I think he'll get this thing right. I really do. I don't see any other coach that's going to be better than him coming in there, and the kids love him. They respond to him. So I think he'll do. I think Michigan's going to cover this. I do.
All right, moving right along down to another team. My old alma mater, the Hofstra Flying Dutchman, a.k.a. the Hofstra Pride. Whether they're flying as a Dutchman with that flying, Dutch kickboxing, or if we're doing the lion things, scratching you up. Going against the Cincinnati Bearcats. This is another fight of the Cats. Again, rotation number 819, the Hofstra Pride, going against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Rotation number 820. Another close game. Hofstra on the dog side at +1.5. Now, Speedy Claxton, NBA champion, their alma mater coach. I'm liking to see that in college basketball. A lot of these NBA guys kind of were sitting around spending their millions, chilling on the beach, and decided, you know what, let me go back to my alma mater and coach. We saw that with Anthony Hardaway. Unfortunately, he lost yesterday in the tournament. He's out of the tournament, but we got Juwan Howard over at Michigan, and now we've got Speedy, a.k.a. Craig Claxton. He was a legend in the Rucker, by the way. That's why they called him Speedy. Nobody could catch him. He just blow by you. He's coaching up Hofstra today. Total 151 in that game, over and under 151. I'm thinking it's going to go over. That's why I said that. But when you talk about it from that perspective, Hofstra just squoke out and missed out in the tournament. Couldn't quite get over the hump. But when you'd say the Cincinnati Bearcats, a former powerhouse in college basketball, sneaking up in the NIT, do you think they're going to try to get their profile up with the tournament win today in that particular tournament? Go ahead.
They're going to try it, but I like Hofstra. I like what they're doing. I love your alma mater. They can play some ball. I've seen them play.
Yes. They only pick the best. Like I said, if I played there, I redshirted and then, had a little dispute, but I got my degree. I got my degree out in West Coast, Sousa Pacific. Still an applied mathematics major. That's why I'm giving you grease and able to calculate walking down the street and chewing gum at the same time. But I like Hofstra too in this game. It is a tough situation for a lot of these college basketball teams now, because when you look at the field in the NCAA tournament, still kind of political on the picks, but during the NIL years, you're seeing a lot of kids come out trying to look for money. You can still find good quality basketball at some of these mid-major conferences, especially in the Northeast, because the Northeast, New York City area has not been as strong in college basketball as, say, maybe 25, 30, maybe 35, 40 years ago. But recently, we've seen a lot of teams out of that area. We had St. Peter's, that's New York metro area, Jersey, last year making a run. We saw Manhattan, the Jaspers, a couple of years ago making the run. And now we see Hofstra trying to get back into that winning form. These guys used to be a perennial tournament team. I remember back in the early 2000s, they were playing with Craig Claxton and Norm Richardson. These guys ended up having a great career in the NBA. Again, Craig won in a championship with the Spurs, played many years with the Sixers, and I think Norm Richardson, he played with the Chicago Bulls and the old Vancouver Grizzlies. But going back up into the NIT, got an HBCU here, rotation number 829, University of South Carolina Upstate plus 11 going up against the Indiana State Sycamores, rotation number 830. Now USC Upstate, that's South Carolina Upstate plus 11. We do see a money line in this game, and you know what that means. This is the CBI. This is where the money can get made, guys. The dogs are barking here. Plus 470. Two teams you probably never heard of, but I do know that in the HBCU basketball, they play real scrappy. They still got a little bit of that street game to you, and if these guys get hot, they can blow out teams. But Indiana State, again, alma mater of the great Larry Bird. Do you think this is the team that's going to now come in and say, look, we're in the CBI. It's a postseason tournament. Let's play for it. Let's see if we can get that. But that's a really big spread. Talk to me about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a tough game to call because that HBCU team's really good. I mean, like I've seen them play; they can run and gun, and if they get hot, they will blow that game away. I'm
telling you right now, man, it is a very, very interesting year for college basketball. We're seeing a lot more representation in college basketball, and when you talk about it from the perspective of the HBCUs, unfortunately, we saw Howard lose in the first round. And they booed the vice president. I mean, that wasn't very good. And they said she went in the locker room and gave him a bad speech after they lost. I mean, oh, my goodness. But we got South Carolina Upstate in the CBI today. So we're going to give some more grease. Shout out to my folks balling over at the HBCUs. I was following this year the Tuskegee men's basketball team. They are, I think, NIAI or whatever it is. But anyway, connected with those guys again. They didn't get in or win their tournament, but they're going to be poised to be doing well next season. And then rounding out this, before we take this short commercial break, another CBI tournament game. This one's at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach, North Alabama. Rotation number 831 plus 9 on the spread, plus 335 on the money line. Total is 163.5 going up against Southern Utah, another team representing out here from the Mountain West. Rotation number 832, minus 9, but it's a very expensive minus 430. You guys know I don't like those expensive games, those expensive teams of players you've never, ever seen a day in your life. But let's talk about it. North Alabama, do you think that could be valuable? I'm just liking dogs today, man. Again, if you put them on a round robin, go to sleep, you might wake up with money, or you could wake up with no money like I've been doing because I've been putting a couple of these favorites on there, and they haven't been able to cover. But Ron, talk to me about it, and then we'll jump to this short commercial break. Again, you're rocking with JB the Ticket, the boss of the big board, Vegas Scoreboard Express, every Saturday and Sunday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., giving you grease with my main man, Ron, third down, best bets. All of my contributors have got some more guys coming up. Baseball season, the World Baseball Classic. How about the Mets losing a ton of players, man? Lost Edwin Diaz. This guy was doing the shaky date dance, and next thing you know, Tango was down, and then it was a situation the other game the other day in spring training. They lost another player, but we'll be talking about that with my main man, Scotty Beam Him Up Webb, tomorrow. Every Sunday morning, you know you can get that baseball grease. But again, talking about this last one, man, Southern Utah, you think these guys can cover that minus 9? Go ahead.
I go with North Alabama. Absolutely. And I think it's the Saluki, Southern Utah Saluki. Is that what they are?
Nah, Southern Utah is, oh boy, they're out here out west. Let me see. Southern Utah. Man, they're the Thunderbirds. There you go. Thunderbirds. There you go. All right. So the Thunderbirds, minus 9. Ron thinks not. He likes North Alabama, plus 9. When I come back from this short commercial break, more with Ron, third down, best bets. We're covering this college basketball. Might touch a little bit on this NIL, so you guys know what to do. Keep your radios locked, your websites locked to KSHP.com at AM 1400. KSHP here in Las Vegas, VSX Digital Sports Networks. Go to my website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, for all of my daily deals, picks, and you guys know I got the discount codes. I got that Fubo TV. I got the casinos for you. I got the Fight 2 glasses. If you guys wear glasses and you want to look even better, I got the hookup for you. So you guys know what time it is. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Keep it locked. Grab your bankroll. Hit the window. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big boss, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard. Giving you that
Vegas Scoreboard Express, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 6 on AM 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
Is your dog suffering from a sensitive stomach? Hi, it's Kelly the Cookie Lady from Mooch's Munchies. Our dogs had super sensitive tummies, and I needed to find a low-fat treat that wouldn't give them gas or other issues. Most of the treats on the market were loaded with fillers, chemicals, and chicken fat. Many of them weren't even food. Well, I knew I could do better, so I developed Mooch's Munchies, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. Stop by our store or our website, moochesmunchies.com, and find out why we say that Mooch's Munchies are totally pawsome.
Zen World Premium CBD offers full and broad spectrum CBD oil, extracts, and capsules which are designed to help you feel your best. Their products are sourced from the best organic hemp and natural ingredients on the market and are tested for quality, purity, and potency. They have a full range of items from health and wellness to beauty to pets. Call 725-205-9223. Visit online at zenworld.com or stop by their location at 9895 South Maryland Parkway and Silverado Ranch Parkway. Mention KSHP for 10% off in store or use code KSHP online for 15% off.
Locally owned and operated, come on down to Academy of Hair Design located at 5191 West Charleston Boulevard, number 150 today to begin your career in cosmetology. There is something for everyone from cosmetology to nail technology. You will be able to have the hands-on training that is needed to succeed in this career field. Call 702-878-1185 or visit www.ahdvegas.com today.
Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball. That's the truth.
This is it. The cocaine and the crack. They all sound the same to me. There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it. That's just the way it is. That's the reason why I came to you.
Drink and women and money.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, KSHP, waking you up early in the morning. Back on the line with my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets. You can follow him on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. You can also see his brand new profile on KSHP through VSX Digital Sports Networks. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Click his link, and that's where you can follow Ron. Ron, you're still on the line with me. How you doing?
I'm wonderful, brother. How you doing?
I'm glad that you're doing well. Again, you guys can catch these games on Fubo TV. That's right. Don't get blacked out with a cable issue. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com and click that live Fubo TV link. I'm giving you 15% off and an additional 7 days free. Or you can go directly to the source at FuboTV.com/JB. And of course, you'll see my name pop up there because I'm giving you nothing but the grease. So we're jumping back into this college basketball, talking about the CBI tournament. Another team that's coming in, rotation number 833, Southern Indiana. Man, I didn't even know where that is, but we're going to get the producers to pull that up. Going up against the San Jose State. I think they're like the Spartans or something like that. You're from out in California. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rotation number 834, -9. Another expensive team on the money line, San Jose State, -445. Are these guys worth $450 to win 100? Come on, talk to me.
No, they're not.
Exactly. I didn't think so. So you know what we're going to tell you. Either stay off of this game and bet the dog. I'm trying to pull up some information on Southern Indiana, and that's the interesting thing about college basketball right now. Again, you don't know who any of these kids are. You're always saying to yourself, well, if I could just, watch the games, or if I could just sit down. I'm like, no, it's the problem with the sports media. They're just promoting, these guys are called the Screaming Eagles. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles going up against the Spartans. So, again, these guys are a 15 seed in this college basketball invitational tournament. You can see these games on Fubo TV. So if you're a San Jose State alumni, this is where you can watch it. But you're talking about this game today at 12:30 East. I think it's Eastern time. Yeah, it could be a little bit in the morning. But you think there's any opportunity for this team to win? I mean, they're coming out of Evansville. We know Evansville has their own university. I mean, Indiana's a basketball state. And you can never count out any team in Indiana. I mean, it is the Hoosier State. It is that, place where all these kids grow up with the ball in their hand, taking a couple jump shots. And they look like kind of a tough team out of the Ohio Valley Conference. We know that Conference has produced a few NCAA tournament winners over the years. But in the CBI, talking about the Screaming Eagles today, the predictions have these guys at +9. They're 16-16. So you're talking about one of these 500 teams, but San Jose 20-13 didn't squeak into the tournament. These are very, very weird times in college basketball because you're talking about teams that really are getting matched up to go to these tournaments. I think some of these schools even pay to get into the tournament to get more exposure. But nevertheless, you got a 500 team going against a team only 7 games over 500. Talk to me about what you're seeing here.
Well, I don't see Norman Dale as the coach, and I don't see Jimmy Chitwood on their roster. So I think Southern Indiana's in trouble.
Well, leaving it at that, I'm actually off of that game. I have no idea who these kids are.
This ain't going to be no Hoosiers.
Man, I'm telling you, these kids, I'm telling you, it is so weird, man. And I try not to like down it and be like, an old guy, but it's like, it's creating an opportunity. And a lot of us guys in independent media, I'll probably be the first mover on this. I'm going to maybe get some folks to get on this and say, well, who are the kids who could make it? Because the internet is really where we find out about a lot of these kids. Like I said, a couple of years ago, found out about Mac McClung with some of his high school highlights, but it's very hard to follow a lot of these kids into the NBA. And it's always been that way if you really look at it. But what I'm seeing now, I mean, there's a plethora of tournaments, a lot of opportunities for kids to get busy. But I mean, that's the slate of basketball games today. So not 150 games. Rounding out the show, let's talk a little bit about the NIL deal. Now, we know those two girls down in Miami, the Cavender twins, catching a lot of flack for collecting all that money and not doing too much on the court down in Miami. But there were seniors, making money off of the pretty. But these guys, young ladies, might be going over to the WWE. I mean, where do you see this NIL stuff going? Because I meant to pull that up. Let me pull this up right here. But where do you see this stuff going? Because we were talking about the National Play of the Year on in college basketball yesterday on Twitter with my main man Pop DiBiase, and he mentioned that everybody's just talking about this guy like he is just a regular player, and that was Zach Edey. Well, he lost. I mean, he got beat, so it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, you can't complain if nobody's giving him that type of grace. But when you look at it from that perspective, to not really see these kids getting these endorsements or getting the airtime that they used to get back in the day, do you think having the NIL now is even useful? Go ahead.
In basketball, absolutely not. It is not useful at all. Football, it is. But in basketball, it's a waste of time right now.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything.
It's not doing nothing for these kids. And that's what I was thinking, that the issue of paying the players over the decades when they had the investigators and all that, all those people lost their jobs, and all those kids who got cheated out of records and opportunities to play. I mean, these guys have got to be green up the butt, just really angry about what has happened, not only to their sport, but also to the guys that play the sport. We talked about them not recruiting in the inner city, not really recruiting. And these are the bigger programs we're talking about, these Power 5 conferences, not really bringing kids from these rural areas or going to dig talent out. You've got college teams going overseas like the NBA now. I mean, these guys, you know what I mean? You got to really start thinking about how to pronounce some of these names. And I mean, they've always gone overseas. They've always found these gems, but now it's just more prevalent. So when you take a look at it going forward for college basketball, no one knows who these kids are. No one is putting them in commercials, if you will. Do you think the NIL is going to be kind of like an afterthought? And the reason I ask that is because the schools really passed the buck on this. The schools, their programs, their boosters, these were the guys who were actually paying the money. Okay. So when the NIL became a thing, became legal for these kids to start getting money in college, these schools and conferences went ahead and passed the buck. They said, go out and get your own endorsement deal. And I think that was absolutely wrong. It was atrocious. It was something, again, NIL. You're getting nothing. It's funny that they named it the NIL deal, because these kids are getting exactly that. They're getting nil. And when you talk about it from the perspective of the colleges, all they're doing is promoting the coach. And I told you guys that on my NIL show. I already broke it down. You guys can go back and listen to that. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Listen to those 2 episodes. Listen to what Linwood said about how he was treated and how he was helped out. They're not doing that for these kids now. That's why you're seeing the National Player of the Year, Zach Edey, Purdue Boilermakers, out in the first round. That's why. Because what's this kid got to play for? Okay? He's playing his heart out. I don't see him on the commercials. Everybody talks about the Christian Laettner phenomena. I mean, this guy was everywhere. GQ magazines. I mean, college basketball players were essentially pros back in the day, and we know those kids took money. We know, I mean, they had to do what they had to do. I have no problem with that. You know, being an old player myself now, I'm just an old crickety OG on the radio, but I'm telling you, I saw it. Dude, we were all broke. We needed to get money. We needed to pay for books. I mean, college isn't just playing basketball. You might meet a girl. You keep wearing the same shirt every day. You know she ain't going to talk to you. The players is going to give you a lot of hard time. Your other classmates might look at you a little funny. So again, these kids were starving. They were broke and they didn't have very much. So when you talk about it from that perspective, Ron, college basketball as we know it, I mean, March Madness right now, I'm kind of mad. I mean, we're hearing about it, but we're not hearing about it. And I can tell you right now, it all ended with Zion Williamson in 2019 because that was the last year kids couldn't get paid. If Zion Williamson was an NIL guy, he would have had a Nike shoe. Unfortunately, his Nike shoe broke on him right in the middle of the game, playing with Duke. But you're talking about it from the perspective of, oh, well, now we can pay these kids. The talent is getting better. I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing more and more of this kind of like a national high school tournament, and if you will, because, again, the players and the quality of play, it just hasn't been there. But go ahead, talk to me. And then we'll take this short commercial break and get up out of here. Again, thank you so much, Ron, for stopping by. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. It's really like a black hole right now. The NCAA, a lot of their leadership is changing right now. That Mark Emmert finally stepped down, which is a blessing to the sports world.
Right, he was top cop. He couldn't patrol anymore. Go ahead.
He had grudges against schools. He killed USC for Reggie Bush because he didn't like Mike Garrett. He's done it with Tarkanian before. If he didn't like you, he crucified you. Now they have leadership that will rule justly. That's the start. And I think these guys they realize the problem.
Well, the problem is
they're going to address this.
Yeah,
this NIL.
Yeah, the problem is the schools aren't. The problem is they need to create justice. The schools need to be the ones paying these kids. Don't expect these kids to go out and get an agent or have their cousin sign them up with the local dealership. No, you sign with that school, you get a check. Okay, if you're a top player, you just tie it to performance. You got to keep your GPA up here. You got to stay out of trouble. No arrests. No jibber jabber to your teachers, your professors, or whatnot. And if you maintain what you're supposed to do on this team, we'll hook you up with $100,000 a year on top of your scholarship. I don't think anyone on campus would have a problem with that because you're talking about tech kids who don't even pick up a basketball, getting $1 million deals from tech companies all over the world before their studies are even complete, getting their grad school paid for, getting fellowships and things like that. So when you talk about it from that perspective, these college basketball players need to have the schools pay them. And the college football players, the same thing, because this all started with my main man, Charles O'Bannon, those O'Bannon brothers, when they realized they were in that college basketball video game and weren't getting paid for it. But again, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, my main man, Ron, third down, best bets. Any shout outs before we take this short commercial break and I come back and sign off, brother? Thank you so much for stopping by. We gave a lot of grease today.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I got a shout out for Chris at ADTR Performance. Man, does wonders with cars. Check him out online, man. He'll hook your car up.
That's right, and he needs to check us out online and hook us up with an advertisement. Again, my main man, Ron, third down, best bets. Follow him on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. JB the Ticket. When I come back from this short commercial break, I'm signing off. You know what time it is. Time to grab your bankroll, hit the window, and get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big boss.